What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Casual Old Gamer Weekly. We made it to episode 2, and apparently the gacha industry decided that I didn't have enough to talk about this week. Honkai Star Rail just revealed version 4.5 and casually announced a Zenless Zone Zero crossover. Blue Archive permanently banned more than 122,000 accounts. AFK Journey is bringing in Digimon. StarSavior just gave us a much better look at its next several months of content. And there's a pretty concerning story surrounding the original Chinese developer behind ALLfiring and ALLfiring. Then we have new games, new collaborations, summer events, and a bunch of updates launching over the next week. So, let's get into it. Let's start with Honkai, Star Rail. Because the version 4.5 special program had a lot more in it than I expected. Version 4.5 is called To Roll the Stars in Astropolis, and it launches on August 26th. After the events in Plain Arcadia, the Trailblazer heads to Astropolis. This is a major stronghold of the IPC and home to Interastral Peace Entertainment. And apparently, while trying to save Plain Arcadia, we're also going on vacation, because nothing says relaxing summer getaway quite like corporate politics and an impending cosmic disaster. The first new 5-star is Robin, Summeretto. This version of Robin is Wind, following the path of remembrance. Her gameplay revolves around building vibes as her teammates take actions. Once the team reaches fever pitch, Robin starts providing stronger buffs. And her ultimate can immediately advance a chosen teammate while restoring their energy. So if you thought regular Robin didn't sing enough during combat, apparently we have solved that problem. Then, in the second half of the update, we get Aventurine Waveflair. He's a quantum character on the path of elation, and Aventurine has apparently decided that the best way to deal with his problems is beach volleyball and surfing. Honestly, there are worse coping mechanisms. Robin arrives with the update on August 26th, alongside a Hyacine rerun. Aventurine's banner begins September 12th, alongside an Asheville rerun. There are new events as well. Overdrive Whirlwind Grand Prix puts you in charge of a racing crew. Minuscule Great Adventure adds another set of stage challenges. The Divergent universe is getting an update. And version 4.5 finally adds the ability to speed up story dialogue. I'm sure absolutely nobody has been asking for that. But then Hoyoverse dropped the real surprise. Honkai Star Rail is officially collaborating with Zenless Zone Zero later this year, and according to the official announcement, characters from Zenless Zone Zero will actually join the Trailblaze. We do not have the full character lineup yet, so I'm not going to dive into leaks and pretend they're announcements, but this is a crossover I absolutely want to see. And once Hoyoverse reveals who is actually crossing over, we're definitely coming back to this one. Next, Blue Archive has been swinging the ban hammer, and when I say swinging it, I mean they apparently brought out the entire toolbox. On August 13th, Nexon announced that 122,046 accounts had been permanently banned. That is not a typo, 122,000. According to Nexon, the accounts were identified for abusing in-game mechanics to gain an unfair advantage, including the use of illegal programs, and these are permanent restrictions. For a little perspective, a Blue Archive ban notice back in March listed around 17,700 accounts. So this latest wave is enormous. Now obviously we don't know the individual circumstances behind every single account, but Nexon is making its position pretty clear. If you're running unauthorized software or exploiting the game, they are looking for you. And apparently they found quite a few people. Next up, AFK Journey is going straight for the nostalgia. The Digimon Adventure crossover begins August 18th as part of version 1.7.3. The first crossover hero pairs Taichi with Agumon. And then we have Yamato and Gabumon. The crossover includes a new event called Path of Discipline, along with a special 7-day login event. There are also crossover invite letters, cosmetic rewards, frames, and other event items. And importantly, players will have a way to obtain Yamato and Gabumon and raise them as high as Mythic Plus through the crossover rewards. I have a soft spot for Digimon. So putting Agumon and Gabumon into AFK Journey is the kind of crossover that can get me interested even if I haven't been actively playing the game, and I think using the original Digimon Adventure cast was probably the safest possible choice. There are a lot of generations of Digimon now, but if you're trying to hit people directly in the nostalgia, Agumon still works. StarSavior released a new set of developer notes on August 14th, and this was actually a pretty substantial roadmap update. The immediate focus is Metabasis of Ashen Embers, beginning August 20th. The story centers on Heidi and Christelle, exploring ruins connected to their past and uncovering some things that apparently should have stayed buried. Christelle is also joining the playable roster. She's a Sun Attribute Ranger and will receive her own featured observation. Then we're moving into the next major story content. The Witch's Veil continues the main story following Luna, Smile, and Omega as they search for the missing captain and Ashura. We also got more information on Amora. She's an Order Attribute Assassin and a Cosmic Savior. Part of her kit revolves around removing her own debuffs, which should create some interesting possibilities depending on how the final numbers shake out. After that, we have A Study in Grey, beginning September 17th. That story puts Professor M and Gwen into the spotlight. If you've been paying attention to Lily's journey and some of the Arcana stories, you've already been able to catch glimpses of both characters. And then looking even farther ahead, we're eventually getting another event featuring Ceres and Lydia in some very different outfits. Yes, it's a maid event. Because eventually every gacha game discovers maid outfits. It is apparently one of the fundamental laws of the genre. But overall, I'm glad StarSavior is starting to give us a clearer picture of what's coming, instead of only talking about the next banner. A roadmap gives players something to actually look forward to. Now, I want to switch gears for something a little more serious. A story about Fire Ring, and its development history connected to the game global players know as ALLfiring, has started circulating again in the community, and there is an important distinction here. This is not a brand new August story. The original allegations go back to January and February of this year. A person claiming to be a former employee of the Chinese developer behind Fire Ring publicly alleged that employees had gone without salary and social security payments for at least 4 months. Chinese financial media later reported on those accusations. They also reported that the company had received 4 enforcement records during January, totaling more than 650,000 Chinese yuan, involving labor arbitration and contract disputes. There were also reports that the studio continued advertising new positions while these disputes were happening. Now, I want to be very careful with the wording here. The unpaid wage claims originated with a former employee and were reported as allegations. I have not found a public statement from the studio confirming every part of those claims, and I have also not found an official end-of-service announcement for ALLfiring. In fact, the global Google Play listing was updated as recently as August 10th, and the game is still running current events. So I would not jump from... The original developer reportedly had serious financial problems too. The global game is shutting down tomorrow. Those are two very different claims, but given the development history and the reported financial disputes, this is absolutely something worth keeping an eye on. Alright, time for quick hits. First, we have a completely new anime game that slipped past my original notes. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Golden Spirit officially launched on August 13th. It's an officially licensed mobile game that lets you build teams using characters from across the JoJo anime series. The game passed 2 million pre-registrations before launch and is now available across most global regions. So if JoJo and Gacha are two things you enjoy, well, someone has apparently decided your free time was unnecessary. And apparently Nikkei isn't the only game getting Persona this year. Heaven Burns Red has officially teased a Persona 5 Royal collaboration for the English version, and players can currently claim 3,000 quartz as part of the announcement. One important note, I have seen dates being attached to this collaboration online, but the official English teaser does not currently give us the collaboration launch date, so until WFS gives us that date directly, I'm leaving it as coming soon. And Crystal of Atlan is crossing over with the King of Fighters 98. That collaboration begins August 27th, and yes, Mai Shiranui is coming to Atlan. I somehow suspect that announcement will get people's attention. Now for a few dates to remember this week. Mongol Stardive version 1.3 launches August 18th. The update introduces the new character Brishel, along with additional content and quality of life improvements. I already did a separate video breaking down the developer lounge talk, so check that out if you want the full details. Stella Sora starts its new summer event, Surfing Splash, a sparkling holiday adventure, after maintenance on August 17th. The event introduces Karin, an Umbra Vanguard, and includes a new event shop with tickets, upgrade materials, a 5-star runic disc, and other rewards. punishing. Grey Raven launches Steering by Light on August 19th, and the update introduces the new S-Rank Omniframe Karenina Effulgence. Then on August 20th, Wuthering Waves version 3.6 Lamplight and Mirage, Swords Resolve and Heart goes live. We talked about that one briefly last week, so if you're waiting on the new update, August 20th is the day. And one more callback from last week's show. Yukiko Amagi's Persona 4 Golden Banner begins in Nikkei on August 20th. If Queen already took all your gems, I wish you the best of luck. If you live in the United States and have ever wanted ramen with your Zenless Zone Zero, apparently this is your moment. Zenless Zone Zero and Kuromen's Operation Yum collaboration is now underway. It runs through October 15th at participating Kuromen restaurants across the U.S. There's limited merchandise, an in-game redemption bundle, and additional physical rewards depending on what you purchase. I feel like gacha games are slowly expanding into every part of my life. Now they're coming for dinner. StarSavior has added a new partner named Rob to the Magic Parchment, and Rob is a chatbot. You can ask him about characters. The developers also specifically warn players that Rob's answers may sometimes differ from the actual game data, so you should verify important information in-game. Which means StarSavior has successfully recreated the complete AI chatbot experience. I'm not sure whether that was intentional. And Chaos Zero Nightmare has previewed the new combatant Arabella, along with a new Great Rift boss called Avark. Arabella is an instinct attribute striker built around applying and stacking the harmful effect Fracture. Before we finish, a few games to keep on the radar. Arknight's Enfield is officially coming to Steam. The Steam release doesn't have a date yet, but wishlisting is open. Enfield will also be at Gamescom from August 26th through the 30th with playable boss challenges and other activities. Then we have a newly announced game called Bringer, and this one immediately caught my attention. It's a new fantasy action RPG being developed in Unreal Engine 5 for PlayStation 5, PC, iOS, and Android. Combat includes real-time party switching, dodging, parrying, different weapon modules, and finishers. The game takes place in a fantasy world involving ancient civilizations and enormous creatures known as Arkeloth. And we'll get our first real playable look at Bringer during Gamescom. There is no release date yet, but visually this is absolutely going on my watch list. And finally, I want to clear up some confusion surrounding Azure Promilia. I've seen people saying that there is no global sign-up at all. That isn't quite right. The official English Azure Promilia website does have global-facing pre-registration available. What we do not have is a confirmed global release date. Some regional storefronts have displayed dates near the end of December. But until Manju actually announces a worldwide release date, I would treat those as placeholders. Pre-registration, yes. Confirmed global launch date, not yet. And that is going to do it for episode 2 of Casual Old Gamer Weekly. For me, the biggest surprise this week was definitely Honkai, Star Rail announcing the Zenless Zone Zero crossover. I was not expecting that, but I'm also really interested in the Digimon crossover in AFK Journey, and I want to see how StarSavior's new roadmap actually plays out over the next couple of months. Now I want to hear from you. Which story caught your attention this week? Are you excited for Star Rail and Zenless Zone Zero crossing over? Are you jumping into AFK Journey for Digimon? Or is there another game I should be watching for next week's show? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to Casual Old Gamer, and come back next week for another roundup. Until then, stay lucky, spend responsibly, and I'll see you in the next one.